How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious, and welcome to my guide for Stage 7 of Acheron's Arsenal. This is the newest time-limited event gear raid as part of the second anniversary celebration, and this is some pretty hard content. I will say it's a lot more straightforward than Stage 6. There are a lot less moving parts. However, you need to bring a lot of damage, without a doubt. So I cleared this pretty dang fast, but then I spent a couple hours scaling it back as much as I possibly could in terms of heroes and gear. And you can see I'm still using pretty good heroes and gear. We're bringing 4 legendaries this time. I was able to do it with no legendary lords. That was the big goal for me because it sounds like everyone's using Yovar or Araka. We're doing no legendary lords, trying to keep it pretty simple. The key thing is you need 4 good DPS. There are a ton of units that can do these jobs. I'll explain all of it after the run, but I say let's hop right in.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
The key thing to point out is I'm definitely using late, closer to endgame gear, but we're not using any tier 3 gear on the right side. I tried to really, rein everything in as much as we could, but you will need at least 2 units that are really built out nicely. Those will be your 2 DPS on the bottom of the screen. So for me, those are going to be Calypso and Silas. But like I said, I will shout out substitutes for all of these roles, and we'll go over everyone's gear at the very end. So without further ado, let's head in. You can see they recommend 1 million BP. We're about 150k below that. Let's kick this off. So first things first, what you're going to want to do is place the first of your 2 really strong DPS. For me, that will be Calypso, and we're pointing her down over here. My Calypso is definitely built out quite nicely. I have her exclusive gear, her exclusive artifact, only tier 2 gear on the right side. She's also a 5. You do not have to use Calypso. I just really like her, and she's got an auto ult when she gets her soulstones up, so just kind of permanent. But you could easily put a Silas here. You could put a Nyx here. You could use a Nora here. Really just use your absolute best marksman, whoever you have the best gear for and the best awakenings on, the best unit to begin with, or you can bring a really, really good mage like a Nora. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's begin the battle, and let's talk about that later. Next up, we'll place our other very good marksman. For me, that's going to be Silas. He'll be down here pointed up. The reasons these 2 spots are so important, this Calypso spot has to deal with more of the summoner floaty skeleton heads than the top spot here that kind of mirrors it. If you don't know what monster I'm talking about, it's these guys, the Soul Eaters. These are summoned by this guy, the Gravekeeper. And then the reason the Silas spot is so important is because he has to deal with the first lane at the beginning. And with my strat, we're not going to use a tank here until the second half of the battle. So we're going to leave this lane open for the melee units until the second half of the battle. So that's why these 2 spots are so important. We're going to wait now until we get 17 costs, and then we will deploy Hollow. And you'll see Hollow is in an Invigoration set. You can see that right here. So she's placed the plus 10% buff on Calypso. We wait. We're waiting till we have enough cost for my Talon. Again, you absolutely do not need Talon. You just need some kind of very good single target marksman. It could even be an AoE if you had a particularly strong one like Nyx, or an exceptionally good mage. So someone like a Boreas or an Anora, something like that. We're going to settle in now. As soon as that line comes, that more units are coming, that's when we're going to ult with Silas. And also now that the ult is full of Talon and Hollow, we're going to ult with Talon and then ult with Hollow. See, Silas is going to pick off these units. He can handle the lane by himself. Once we have enough costs for Vortex or whatever healer you're going to use, we're going to place him here. I would suggest bringing Pharisee if you have him. Otherwise, just use Vortex. He's also in an Invigoration set, so is Silas now receiving the buff. We wait. Once we have 12 costs, we're going to place our other good single target marksman or very good mage or whatever you want to do. AoE marksman if you've got Nyx or something like that. Even a Razak with great gear would work, or Kai. Got to place him here pointed up. And then what we're going to do is I'm using Lunaria as my Piercer Lord. She's not wearing any gear except for a very low level Invigoration set. So I'm just going to put her down here so she buffs Hex. I've done clearances without doing this, but I figure I would shout it out for you guys because if you've got a random Invig set, do it. She's got no left side gear. It's like plus 8 Invig. It doesn't matter. We just want to get the buff out. Now, as soon as Silas kills this unit, we're going to place Maul and we're going to point him up. I would suggest this be the spot you use your good AoE DPS that's a piercer. So I would suggest someone like Nyx, Kai, Razak, even Fenris could work, but at that point, probably just bring Maul. We're bringing Maul. We have 1 deploy left, you'll see. We're not using any ults right now. As soon as we get 18 costs, we're going to place Olag here, pointed to the left. Now, when this guy's getting closer to getting ready to move, we're going to ult with Hex. Calypso's going to start taking care of the bottom here. You can see why I like her. Now all her souls are summoned. Her soul stones are summoned. Her seal stones, excuse me. So I don't have to worry about clicking any buttons with her. She's just going to get the job done. As soon as this guy enters Maul's range, we're going to ult, get a hit. Hex finishes off the kill. Those guys are a lot less tanky while they're in the air. So if you can get some big hits on them before they land, they get a big damage reduction increase once they land. Let's wait for Calypso to finish this off. She's got 2 more units. There we go. Good job, Calypso. We're sitting on everything right now. When these torpedo guys come through, there's 2 rounds of them in this battle. I think it's 2. It's really a great respite because they're not going to kill you unless you have really terrible builds with like no HP at all. So it kind of gives you a moment to gather yourself and have your units build rage back. So I appreciate when these spectral wraiths come through. So the moment these guys shoot down at you, it is kind of like a nice break for your units to build a little bit more rage back, and you can kind of, recenter the run, get back on track if anything was going awry. So that was kind of like the end of part 1. This is going to be the start of part 2 of the battle. Throw it on 1x here. Right about now, we're going to ult with Maul. Also going to get an ult with Silas here. Maul's also nice because he brings some DPS, obviously, and we built him for DPS, but he's bringing a good little bit of crowd control as well. As soon as these guys start entering Talon's range on the top right now, we can ult with Talon, and immediately after, ult with Hollow. We ult with Hollow for 2 reasons. This turns her basic attack heals into double heal, like 2 target heals, so she's healing both of these guys, and also we can start building rage back for Talon. You want to time out your ults with Talon so she can kill this guy before he keeps summoning more and more and more of those Soul Eater guys. They're very annoying. Let's ult with Maul really quickly here. Get these guys taken care of. And that is the end of part 2, and that's basically the end of Maul's job. He only has 1 thing left to do. This is the other, there's kind of like these little intermissions, right? Here come the little torpedo guys, spectral wraiths. Watch them shoot down. All right, now this is where I think most people are probably going to have a lot of trouble with this stage because now a big onslaught is coming and you've got to be prepared for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait here. We'll let Maul get a couple hits out, ideally an ult. Keep it on 1x. As soon as he gets this off, we're already going to just pick him up, and now we place Isolde, who's our second tank, and now we've got this lane blocked. You can also pick him up earlier. I just like getting a little more DPS out of him, a little more crowd control. We're not using any ults yet from Silas, or the tanks, or Vortex, or Hex. We're waiting. You'll understand why. You might get scared with these guys coming, but remember, they don't go straight for the closest lane. They go up, and they kind of like serpentine it, right? We've got time. Once these guys are kind of passing each other, that's kind of the moment. Also, when these guys are coming out, now we're going to ult with Silas, ult with Hex, ult with Vortex. We're going to wait on our tanks for a moment. As these guys come up, both these tanks we're bringing, Isolde and Vortex, have extra blocks. So we're going to ult with both of them. And now these guys are just entering Talon range, so we ult with Talon, and we ult with Hollow. Now we should be able to just start picking off some units. This is why I'm saying if you have Farsi or Dasami, someone that can bring some inspiration while having the Vortex range, it's pretty nice because then we'd get more DPS out of Hex and Silas or whomever you're using in those roles. But if you have enough DPS, you're fine. Remember, these guys are going to pass over. We're in pretty solid shape. Both these guys are in Bastion rings for extra block, but you can see there's only the 3 units left on each side. And now we wait for these girls to take care of business. We're going to need a Talon ult soon, but she should be nearly ready. There she is, and we just need to pick off this last guy in the back. Ult there. Let's ult with Isolde just for some tankiness. Hollow and GG's in the chat. That is going to be our guide on stage 7. If you want to see it run over and over and over, you can watch the live stream I just finished earlier. I probably beat this, I don't know, 15, 20 times, trying out different things. This was the most scaled back version we could create. let me show the total stats. We've got Silas at 25 million, Calypso at 17, Hex at 15.5, Talon at basically 13. And then it's not like Maul's doing nothing. He's doing 5 million damage. But I kind of view him as like a crowd control, supporty, debuffer unit. He's also doing the AoE defense break occasionally. That's kind of the role he's serving me. But if you do have a legendary AoE piercer, just bring them. Like Nyx is so crazy powerful there, lowers the gear requirement immensely. Same thing with Kai, even Razak, there's a lot you can do. Something I want to talk about right before we go into the gear, I'm using all epic lords, which means we're getting less of a basic attribute boost from the lord skills, right? It's only 10% instead of 15, and we're getting no real additional effect, right? No additional bonus to damage. If you have Araka or Yovar, please use them instead of Lunaria or Eliza or something, because the difference in damage with your piercers between using a legendary lord and not using one is really night and day. So I highly suggest you do that, and it drastically lowers the gear requirement. So let's start with the heroes who are in the best gear, and that is going to be Calypso over here. I made sure that no one is in right side DPS gear that is tier 3, so no Cataclysm here, but undeniably this is good gear. You might not be able to tell because there's no Ancients, but you'll see we got a quad stat here on an Infernal Roar Bangle. Then we've got another quad stat, and then finally a little bit of tankiness, a little HP. I have a very nice Calypso breastplate, and then we have a good weapon over here. If I show you the total stat, she's coming in at 18,000 attack, 1.1 second attack interval. A little extra speed always goes a long way on Calypso, so if you can get her even faster, that's great. She's at 331% crit damage. Rage Regen doesn't matter, because once she gets her 5 ults done, or 4 ults if you don't have her A5, the Seal Stones are summoned, and then everything for the rest of the battle is just her basic attacks, but they're juiced up from all the previous ults summoning the extra stones to attack with her. For the artifact, I have her exclusive. You absolutely do not need this at all. Just use a Spirit Siphon if you have. Let's go on to Silas now. He also is wearing Infernal Roar, and on the left side he has Warlord. I'll click through the pieces very quickly now. No real quad stats except for on the amulet right here. A little bit of tankiness with the HP. This we get a quad on the breastplate with some flat attack, and then a pretty good standard weapon. Here are the stats, just about 19k attack, 1.2 second interval, 342 attack speed. He's crit capped with nearly 300% crit damage, and again, no extra rage regen for his artifact. He is in a maxed out Blight Collars. Let's go to Hex now. This is our last particularly good build, though I do think it's a step below the other two. He is in a Sutra of Copris, maxed out. His exclusive definitely takes him to a whole new level. I also have his exclusive weapon here. The flat HP we don't really care about, but the rest are very nice stats. And then he's got a very good breastplate. I guess Hex is kind of on a similar level as well. If you look at the right here, though, I tried not to pick up as many quad stat things. We got some HP bonus, some more HP bonus, and some flat HP. All in all, the stats are quite good, though I think very realistic for people that are attempting this kind of content. 18k attack, 1.0 second attack interval, 324.9% crit damage, and no extra rage regen. You can see I don't find rage regen that important to this battle because you don't have to cycle that quickly. Up now, we've got Talon. Well, while we're on the artifact, she's in a maxed out Spirit Siphon. For the right side, she's in, once again, Infernal Roar. We're looking for HP bonus here for a little tankiness, though we didn't need it. Just a nice crit damage roll and other DPS subs. Similar stuff here. Of course, the gold roll is in flat defense. And then we've got another trio with another HP bonus roll. She's got the 4 subsets here, though not the biggest rolls in the world, and then a pretty good Ancient Warlord weapon with some crit damage. If we look at the total stat, she's at 19.1 attack. She has much higher base attack than these other units. If we continue down, she has a 1.2 second attack interval, 345 speed, just over 300% crit damage, and no additional rage regen. And we did already show that artifact, the maxed out Spirit Siphon. So that is going to be our 4 legendary heroes. Those are our 4 legendary piercers. I'll show you just down the line the remaining units. We've got Lunaria here. She's in just the most random invig. It does not matter. No artifact. She is there just to be the Lord and quickly get that invig buff on Hex at the beginning of the battle, as we did. Let's go to Isolde now. She is in quite a good tank build. She does not need this build. She was nowhere near close to death. This was overkill, and I wish I scaled it back. You can see we have Tempered Will, and we have Astral Guardian. The stats are like fine. Some of the pieces are good, some of them aren't. But you don't need this. You could easily run her in Life Force and Guardian, and that's what I meant to do. And I do apologize, guys. We go to the total stats, you'll see this is slightly overkill. I'd say over 6k attack and over 85k HP is going to cut it, especially if you get them in Guardian. For the artifacts, we got a Bastion Ring. Our tanks with Olog and Isolde don't take so much direct damage, so especially with Vortex healing them and the occasional shields and then the Lord skill shields, it's plenty. You don't need any special build like, unfortunately, I was using here. Olog is a similar story. The Bastion Ring is definitely nice, saving some runs with that extra block. If we look, he's in the better Tempered Will, and he definitely did not need it. But you saw, guys, they were never close to dying. You do not need this gear, I promise. Here are the total stats. Complete overkill. This is normally my King Hearts gear that I mean, King Hearts is my main tank on my account, believe it or not. So this did not need to be on Olog. I apologize. Let's go now to Maul. Maul has one really good piece of gear on, and that's going to be this bangle, which is probably the best piece of gear on my account. Ignore these crazy stats. That's not needed. I really just needed a big rage regen roll. This is the one unit we want to be cycling the ult, getting those AoE freezes, the knockback, the defense break. So yeah, this piece is pretty cracked. The rest is pretty fine though. Normal quad stat, not the craziest rolls. And then here, completely and utterly standard Soulbound Arcana, non-ancient piece. Here we got a little quad stat with poor rolls, and here we got a trio with not very good rolls. This piece for sure cracked. The rest, I think, early late game even, completely reasonable. We look at the stats, 14.6k attack, 2.0 second attack interval, crit capped at just over 300% crit damage, and then the 28% rage regen from that one bangle. That's why I needed it. For the artifact, we got a Sharpshooter's Crest. Pretty nice. Let's wrap up now with our healers. We've got Vortex right here. He is in some Invig on the right, Whirlwind on the left. It's the exact same gear I used on him for both of my stage 6 guides that I did, the guides and showcases. Looking for HP and speed. Any additional rage regen and heal effect is nice. Attack speed and HP. Same kind of story. Here we're looking for a lot of speed and a lot of HP, and here we're looking for a lot of speed and a lot of HP. That is basically it. Again, this build probably is slightly overkill. I'd say if you got him to 35k HP and at least 450 attack speed, you would be in business. Aim for 100% heal effect and you're done. For the artifact over here, we've got a maxed out Elysian Epitaph. And finally, we've got Hollow. She's in a maxed out Scarab, and she's in a similar quality build to Vortex. It's also, again, the same healer build I used on her for stage 6 in both of those videos. We're just looking for attack bonus, speed, and then some heal effect, and then flat attack if you can get it. She's never getting hit. She's never at risk of getting hurt, so HP is unneeded. If it comes, it was coincidental. Attack speed, and then some attack bonus and coincidental HP. And then here we go, attack bonus. You can just see the kind of gear I keep on my account. It's good gear. Attack speed and rage regen. Here we're looking for speed and attack bonus, and here we're looking for speed and attack bonus. You get the picture. That's going to be my Hollow build. Again, slightly overkill. She doesn't need any HP. For attack, let's say you want to get her to at least 14k attack. We're at 16.6. For speed, you want her at about 500 speed, maybe 450 is fine. And then if you can get some rage regen and some heal effect, that is nice as well. That is going to be it, guys. I really hope this helps. I'm definitely not claiming this is the most accessible comp of all time, but I do think I did a really good job to scale it back and at least make it more approachable for the rest of you to talk about substitutions for these roles. The role of Silas and the role of Calypso should just be filled by your absolute best marksman, in my opinion. So Silas can do Calypso's job, Calypso can do Silas's job. They're fairly interchangeable. Where we had Calypso, you can actually also use Nyx if you have a good Nyx build. She is very, very good there. And you can even use Anora. I know some people in my chat were telling me they used Anora effectively there. Otherwise, just bring your absolute best piercers, right? So if you want to bring a Yuri is god tier for this. Hex could theoretically do that role if he has his Suture of Copris. There's a lot of options. Yovar can do it. There's really a lot. You can even use Idril if you really get her in completely cracked out gear. For the top 2 roles, where we had Hex and where we had Talon, you could do a lot of things there. In the Talon role, you could even bring a couple single target mages. They can all get the job done. To be honest, you could also use single target mages in the Hex role. I would say in the Hex role, I would probably lean Piercer, or maybe even bring an AoE Piercer like a Razak or a Kai. And then certainly to wrap up for the Maul role, the final DPS option here, just bring an AoE Piercer. Don't bring Maul unless you absolutely have to. But frankly, if you have Kai or Nyx, just bring Kai or Nyx for that spot. Otherwise, use Maul. I mean, why not? honestly, why not? If there are any other heroes you want to know more specific replacements for, just ask me in the comments. But frankly, these tanks can be anyone. I would use Olog for his role. He was outside of healing range, so his shields just keep him at full health the whole time. Isolde could be anyone. We're just using her because she's fine and she's a lord. If you have units with extra block, I think they go a long way, like Crowdor or Malvira or Trusk. You've got a lot of good options. Rox is also just generally a very good unit for this. And finally, for healers, I mean, anyone with these big ranges, I would suggest. I'd say Pharisee is a strict upgrade over Vortex, and for Hollow's job, just use Hollow. Getting that extra rage regen for Talon or whomever's in the Talon role, and also Calypso's role, if you're not using Calypso and you need rage regen there, that goes a long way. That about does it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, please do subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Definitely, please, if you made it to the end and you used this guide and it worked, let me know, because that makes the whole thing feel very worth it if it can help some people solve these pretty hard problems in the game. Share with your mother, guys, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.